What's going on, guys? So in front of me, you were looking at the all-new 2022 Nissan Armada SL four-wheel drive SUV. This is a full-size SUV, and this specific one comes in their awesome midnight package. This is really cool. Pretty much everything has been blacked out except for a few key areas like the chrome handles, the little vents there right above the fender, and the silver wheels. But there's a lot to like about these new Armadas. So hang tight, I'll be right back. All right, so when you're looking at the Nissan Armada lineup, the SL is a step below the Platinum. It is very much a luxury SUV, but you may not get some of the features that you get on a Platinum, at least standard features. Many times they're still optional, but there's gonna be some things that you might need to upgrade to or add to in addition to the normal base package. So this specific vehicle has a base MSRP of $59,710. As equipped, it's $64,235. It's got a lot of really cool features to it. Let's first talk about the horsepower and torque numbers. This is equipped with a 5.6 liter Endurance V8. It's got 400 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired to a 7-speed automatic transmission. And again, this is a four-wheel drive model. You can see it has the 20-inch Bridgestone dueler tires on it. It also has really nice blacked out running boards going down. One thing I like about the Armadas is how they trim off the wheel wells really nice. It makes the vehicle seem a little bit more luxurious and substantial in my opinion. Again, you can see how it has the chrome vents right there above the fenders, as well as the chrome handles and the chrome trim around the top, but everything else is blacked out. So essentially they gave you chrome accents without, you know, the huge chrome flashy front grille or the chrome portions at the bottom. Just looks really nice without being too chromed out. Front parking sensors. This is going to have 360-degree cameras. Nissan has always done a great job equipping a lot of their vehicles with a 360-degree camera package, either standard or as an option. Very cool look to it. And you know, even though overall the body design hasn't changed too much, they've made some really tasteful changes to it that certainly make it stand out and still give it that really luxurious overall appearance. Coming around back, very nice looking back end to it. It definitely has a bold, very aggressive, while at the same time very luxurious. All the curves are in the right spot for it to look very upscale, and it still has that very Infiniti QX look to it. It also has a 2-inch receiver, and I believe that's actually standard, but it's right behind this little bumper cover. Again, I really love the way the back end of this vehicle looks. It just stands out. It's very bold. You know, Nissan vehicles in general have always had really aggressive appeal to them, and I think a lot of folks don't understand that a lot of the things you see on Nissan vehicles have actually migrated to other brands, and they took it from Nissan. So, you know, Nissan really has kind of led the way and pioneered in a lot of areas, such as like 360-degree cameras. That was something that you really didn't see on any vehicle until Nissan kind of made it a mainstream thing. Okay, lifting the hood. Taking a look at this Endurance V8. Very powerful V8 engine. Sounds really good. And I know a lot of folks who are still looking for full-size vehicles with strong, powerful V8s are going to appreciate this. In a world where, you know, a lot of manufacturers have switched to twin-turbo V6s or just V6s in general, it's really nice to know that if you want a big, powerful, meaty V8, you can still get it. And Nissan definitely still offers that as the standard engine in the Armada. Now, something I've never been a huge fan of are the mirrors on both the Nissan Armada or the Infiniti QX. I believe it's the QX80 still. Mainly because they kind of have this squarish shape to them. I believe on a vehicle this large, it would be really nice to have a big spot mirror built into it. You know, maybe make the mirror a little bit different in overall shape, but give you a big spot mirror in the corner so you have that capability of at least being able to see everything around you and not necessarily needing to add it. Because I know there's like a blind spot detection system and you have that stuff, but for me, I don't really use that feature. I mean, if I see the light on and I'm going to make a lane change, then I might take it into account or take it into consideration, but most of the time I actually want to physically see the vehicle that's coming up on me, because I think most people do. I think most people want as much visual acuities around them as possible so they can see if something's going to be where they plan on being. So, you know, having a mirror with the spot mirror integrated into it, I think would be really nice. Okay, lifting the back. This does have third row seating, and in the third row seating, it seats 3 people. So of the vehicles that are available on the market that can seat, at least in the third row, not many of them have the ability to seat 3 people unless you get a full-size SUV like the Armada. So it is really nice to know that they still have third row seating with the ability to seat 3 people back here. A good amount of room. You know, once you get into these third row vehicles, the most cargo room you're going to get is certainly going to be with the seats down, and you simply lift that up, push it down. It is not a power deploying seat. I believe that is an option if you get the Platinum version of this, but in this configuration it's manual, which I don't think most people care. You know, I think it does become more important when you want to put the seats back up, right? Having a power option. But when you're putting them down, I think probably people would prefer the manual version, because you simply pop it up and throw the seat down and you don't have to wait for it to move up or down. But this is what the back looks like. You can see that this does have the captain's chairs in the back with the large center console. You know, it's kind of interesting because for the longest time, my wife would not own a vehicle that was set up this way. She had to have the second row as a bench. But the more time she's spent in some of these vehicles that have that second row center console, the more she's kind of appreciated it and liked the ability to have that feature there, especially if you can remove it so you have easier access into your third row. But when you have that center console there, if it's permanent, the problem you run into is you're pretty much getting a vehicle that's designed for maybe teenagers or designed for larger folks who don't need that ability to get to the third row as easy. So it kind of changes the demographic of the buyer that you're actually appealing to when you put that large center console there. You have a 12-volt socket here. You may have some USB ports here. I don't see any on either side, and there's none on the top. You can see all the air conditioning vents back here. So for me to lift these seats back up, I either need to, well, I need to lean in really far. Maybe there's a way to grab it from here. I could probably grab it right here, maybe from the child lock. This is not going to be something most people would want to do. You'd probably have to lean the second row forward so you could reach this. And then this seat, I'm going to squeeze between the cushion and hopefully be able to raise it. Nope, not going to be able to do it. I'm going to have to actually move the second row to lift the third row. But, you know, this is something that's pretty common in most non-top trim packages when it comes to vehicles like this. But it does have a nice feature up here, of course, where you can raise and lower the gate, but a lock feature. So I guess it locks the doors when it goes down. I really don't know what this feature does. I'm gonna have to check. So I'm gonna hit the lock button right now, and maybe it locks the vehicle when it goes down, just in case you're leaving per se and you want to lock it. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but maybe it locked the vehicle. Let's find out. It did. It locked the vehicle. You can actually lower the lift gate and lock the vehicle at the same time. Just quickly glancing in from this side before I hop into the other side. All right, let's go ahead and hop inside and see what this thing is all about. All right, so something before we get into the vehicle a lot of people don't realize as well is that Nissan kind of pioneered the way of the key fob, that you don't have to actually have a key. You can just touch the door handle or press a button on it. So that's also kind of cool. Looking at the door from here, you can see it's all nice and leather wrapped. You have your memory seat functions here. Sometimes that's missing on non-top trim vehicles, so it's nice to know that's here. Power window controls, door locks, all the normal stuff here, and you can fold your mirrors in with this button as well whenever you get out and lock the vehicle, so that's nice. Power seats up front. All right, hopping inside this 22. All right, so now we're hopping inside of this 2022 Nissan Armada SL. Very interesting kind of pattern color tones you see here. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it almost has like a snakeskin style effect going on it. It's pretty nice. You have your large screen here and you have another screen here. Let's go ahead and get it started. One thing that I've always kind of wanted Nissan to change is make their start-stop button look a little bit different. So all the other vehicles kind of have this same kind of gray looking start-stop button, but this one actually has this kind of white, and it feels a little cheap, to be honest. But I mean, it's such a minor gripe, but still, it'd be nice to see them go to something a little bit nicer looking here. It looks like the same start-stop button used in every Nissan vehicle. Here's your steering wheel, very nicely laid out. In my opinion, even though I love all the access that the steering wheel gives you, sometimes it can feel a bit busy. It feels like there's too many buttons up here, there's too many controls, and they're kind of placed in areas that you can't just instinctually or even intuitively figure out where something might be. So you have that little surround safety system that Nissan has as well, which kind of encompasses the vehicle with the different types of safety technology to ensure that, you know, you're not going to hit a vehicle in front of you, you don't back into anybody, or you're not turning into a lane where somebody might be. All your cruise control functions, these are all your sound and menu options. Up front you have your LCD display for all the stuff going on with the vehicle, analog gauges. Over here you have a very large display. It looks to be about a 12-inch display, but it's laid out horizontally, and it definitely has more of kind of a flatter look to it. It's not bad, it's certainly nice. The difference between this and some vehicles, of course, is that instead of making it really flat and wide, some vehicles make it more, you know, vertically rectangular. Very, very high gloss materials make up the front dash. You have another pocket here, I believe. Okay, so you have a wireless phone charger pocket right here. You have a 12-volt outlet right there. This has a trailer brake controller on it, which is really nice, plus USB outlet, USB-C, and then you can turn your wireless charging on right here. Actually, it looks like this just notifies you when it is on. Drop that down. All your climate controls, dual zone climate controls as well. Again, really nice interior to this. Love having an actual volume knob. I love touchscreen controls, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to your air conditioning controls and your volume, these are things that I absolutely want to actually have as a real knob. I want it to be something that I can just, you know, twist down or twist up quickly if I need to. Here is a control for your radio as well, so instead of using touchscreen, if you don't want to use touchscreen, you can simply use this and scroll around your different menus. Change your audio, change your menu up here. You can change it to your map view or your camera view. Now, a critique that I've made about a lot of Nissan and even Infiniti vehicles is that the cameras are, I hate to say it this way, but I will, they feel ancient compared to most of the competition out there. Most of the competition has gone to very high resolution cameras that, you know, you could probably see a cockroach if it was walking by your vehicle. They're just really, really high quality cameras, whereas they still give you all the view changes that you might be looking for, which is really nice. The problem is they do it on a relatively low quality display. Now, I'm sorry, let me take that back. They do it on a relatively low resolution display. The quality of the display certainly feels as if it could handle a higher resolution camera, but I would like to really see a higher resolution camera on here, and that's something that they've needed to upgrade for a while. You can see the leather seating in here as well. It's very basic. I do like it. It's very comfortable, but again, it's very basic. It doesn't feel like there was much effort put into the design, the stitching, to make it really stand out. It would have been nice if they maybe went with some type of maybe more of a glossier, smooth style leather, and then a matted style leather, but just something that made the seats seem a little bit more luxurious. Maybe even if they put the wording Armada here or something like that, that would have been nice. And then taking a look down here at the center console, this is kind of interesting. It's a reasonable size center console. The interesting aspect to it is the spacing in here. It's kind of confusing to me, so I believe you may be able to slide this forward. Let's see here. Oh no, so you have the two center console thing. You have a hole right here that you can flip with the button in the back. Well, maybe we may be able to get a better look from the back seat. And then you can also flip the center console up from right here, and you have access to storage here as well. But you can see the hole that gives you access from the other side. So that's interesting. Anyways, let's take a look in the back seat of this vehicle and see what it's all about. Okay, stepping into the back, this seems like an ideal area for it to say Nissan or Armada. Instead, it's like a kind of a brushed stainless steel plate right there, probably to protect the paint. All right, hopping in the back, big center console, two interesting cup holders. Interesting because of this divider right here. Again, that same kind of interesting snake skin appearance kind of graphic to it. Really nice though. It looks a little bit on the plain side, if that makes sense. Again, this is a blackout edition, so that might be why. There's access to that storage right there, which is actually pretty convenient, to be honest. So if you need something from the glove box and the driver or passenger up front doesn't want to get it for you, you can kind of reach in and grab it yourself. Down here, you have your air conditioning controls. What I don't see, and they may be somewhere else, but I don't see any type of USB connections down here or any type of charging connections down here for anything else. Typically, that might be in this spot. Actually, I take that back. So way down here, you do have all of your connections. They're just very difficult to see from here. You can't see them at all. So you have to get down pretty low, but they are there. It would be interesting to know what is typically in this spot. Maybe radio controls per se. It's hard to say. Then you got more kind of interesting cornered pieces right here. Again, it almost appears as if something should be there. And then taking a look over here at the door, you have speakers in the door. Really nice. I mean, it's all pretty much blacked out, which is the theme of it, right? If it's not blacked out, it kind of has a darker finish or darker tones to everything. You still have a few little areas where there's some brighter materials, but for the most part, they've done a good job to make the interior look very, very muted and very black, very, you know, toned down, which is kind of interesting. So they have the sunroof up here. This does not have a panoramic sunroof in it. I'm not even sure if there's a panoramic option, to be honest. Your air conditioning vents up here. You have your ability to turn on your dome lights right here, grab handle. And then looking back into the third row, you know, this is the seat down, of course. You got plenty of room back here for most smaller children. I don't know if I would cram any adults back here. You certainly got ample supply of cup holders. You have 2 on each side, which is really nice. No, it's a nice vehicle overall, and you know, Nissan has always evolved this vehicle. They continuously make improvements to it. It's definitely a vehicle that if you have a larger family, it is in that price category that makes it a serious contender to actually buy. There's a lot of vehicles out there like some new Tahoes, some Yukons, some Cadillacs, Ford Expedition, things that if you want to get into one of those, you're gonna, right now, for a reasonable model with leather interior, look at probably spending in the 70s. So to be able to get a vehicle equipped with a lot of the same luxury features at a significantly lower price, or even at a marginally lower price, definitely makes it appealing, especially if you're looking at a vehicle that you want a V8 in. Because if you look at Ford, well, you're not going to get an SUV with a V8 anymore. If you're looking at, you know, Chevy, there are V8s that are available for both Chevy and GMC, but you know, you may not like the interior. You may want something a little bit different. You may want something that has smoother lines to it, that's less edgy. If you're looking at some other vehicles that are on the market, you may find that the vehicle you like from them might cost significantly more but give you less. So that's one thing that Nissan's always done very well, is that they've priced their vehicles very competitively, but given you typically more features than you might expect, or more features than many of the competitors have in their vehicles. But yeah, this is a really cool vehicle. I'll have it for a while. I'd be happy to give you guys more impressions on what it's like to drive this thing around and how it feels, because, you know, what's the point in getting a luxury SUV if it's not comfortable when driving around? So definitely recommend you hang tight, subscribe to the channel. We'll go over payload numbers and all that stuff in the next video, and hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.